Hello and welcome. In this vlog I will be changing the thermostat and coolant mix in my Classic Mini, ready for winter driving. The first part was prepping the car ready for the work. I actually lifted all four corners of the car up and removed the grill to make it easier to get to the radiator drain plug. Removing the grill is easy, especially considering I've previously installed rib nuts to provide a more secure fixing for the grill to the body. With the car cold, emptying the coolant involved removing the electrical connectors and then removing the radiator plug retaining ring. With that removed, the plug can be pulled out, although try to do it a bit slower than I did, else coolant goes everywhere, as you can see. If you do spill, remember to mop it up as quickly as possible, as coolant is not great for your paintwork. As the car is new to me, and not knowing when the last time the coolant had been changed, I wanted to give the car's coolant system a clean. So I purchased this pre-stone radiator flush and cleaner and added it to the radiator and topped it off with normal water from the hose. Following the instructions of the flush, I ran the car for more than 10 minutes, and doing this I also put the heater within the car to full max. I was very happy with the temperature I was getting from the vents. After the car had run for more than 10 minutes, and after it had a chance to pump the cleaner all the way around the system, I then drained the car again, although this time with a touch more finesse and less spillage. So after the initial drain and then the clean and flush cycle, I was ready to remove the thermostat. This of course requires the removal of the thermostat housing, which for SPI Minis is actually in two parts. I also had to remove the radiator support bracket. The housing was easy enough to remove, however one thing I did notice was the studs were filthy and corroded. Unfortunately, I ordered the wrong types of studs, and so I had to make do to clean these up as much as possible before I reinstalled them at the end. This task, in fact most engine bay tasks, is not helped by the extensive air conditioning pipework that exists on these Japanese Minis. When it comes to the thermostat, I noticed that the one installed was an 82 degree thermostat, more suitable to summer driving. From the research I've done on SPI Minis, this should be an 88 degree thermostat, as this helps burn fuel more efficiently. When you remove the housing, it will of course leave behind some previous gasket and sealant. This will need to be removed before installing any new gasket and sealant. So using a razor, I carefully scraped all the surfaces off the block as well as the thermostat housing. I even hoovered out the block where a few small pieces of debris had fallen in. With the surfaces prepared, I took the opportunity to flush both through the block as well as through the radiator. The objective, of course, was to get as much gunk, crud and debris out of the coolant system. After multiple cycles, the flush was coming out relatively clean, as can be seen by the 3 samples taken here. With the coolant system flushed and the mating surfaces prepared, it was time to install the new 88 degree thermostat. For the gasket sealant, I used Permatex Ultra Black Gasket Maker. A tip for other SPI owners doing a similar task, you need 2 gaskets as the housing is in 2 parts. I was as careful as possible to align the gasket and housing before installing the thermostat spring down. Next was the top of the housing and top hose. Here you can see how the condition of the studs were as removed from the car. And with a good wire brush, here is the after, looking much better. Before reinstalling, I applied a liberal coating of copper grease to ensure that they can be removed again in the future. Next was to reinstall the radiator support bracket. Of course, I made sure that I connected all the hoses and tightened down the hose clamps. As I'm based in Toronto, and as the car will be used over winter, I will need good protection from the cold, as the temperature will often be below 0 degrees Celsius. Therefore, I used an ethylene glycol based concentrate to mix up a roughly 60-40 mix with distilled water. Once topped up, I started the car and I went through a process of looking for leaks and tightening down the studs until the leaks stopped. With that complete, all that was left was for me to reinstall the grill, and it's always nice when the nuts and bolts you put in the tray are all gone at the end. I was interested in what, if any, impact I would see, and using my Sykes Pickafan ECU reader, I noticed two main things. First of all, the engine appeared to heat up quicker than it had done previously, and two, the lambda sensor readings were much higher than I've seen previously. I'll be keeping an eye on this and doing some more tests later in the week. The final thing, of course, was to put the number plate back on the car. Thank you for watching.